Oh, that's
That's good. I love your love story, guys. I love to hear you guys share that, because for a lot of us young people, we don't hear these stories anymore. You know, we're being shot at a lot now by Instagram, the soft life. You know, everything is soft, soft, soft. But also the practicality. I love that drinking the water story. Like, for me, it's like amazing. You know, it's something that I really would love to also share in our journey. We've seen that, you know, we used to take taxis together as well, you know, the simplicity of the relationship from the word go, right? But today we're talking about you guys.
So would you recommend someone to wait until they've got their finances sorted? I mean, until, let's say for a guy, they've got $500,000 in the bank account, and then
it's a big one for us guys.
It is because we want to provide, we want to spoil our wives. I think the most
Hi guys, welcome to our podcast.
You're capable.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe right over there. Do hit on that notification bell so that you get our future videos. On my right hand side is the awesome husband joining me.
Mr. Awesome Husband Bulelani Ndebele over here.
Yes, and I am Londeka Ndebele. Today we are joined by the lovely guests, Mr. and Mrs. Mlobane. So on the far left, it's Unka Mlobane, and then we've got Thabiso Mlobane. They are very successful YouTubers. Please do check out their YouTube channel. It's called Love from the Other Side. So I'll just allow them to greet you guys for a second before we get on to today's topic. Yes, right over to you guys.
So yes, we started our channel about a year ago.
Sometime
during the pandemic.
During
the lockdown, yes. And myself, I'm an internal auditor by profession, an entrepreneur by coding, I guess. And my wife is a pharmacist. So, but we thought, hey, let's make a show about how we got together, how marriage life is going, the fact that let's highlight the fact that we're from different countries and how we've been able to make this work. So we just decided one day, let's just do it. Let's just start.
It took a while though. It took a lot of convincing.
Yes.
A lot of convincing.
Yes.
And eventually he got on board now.
Interestingly, they say the husband is like Moses and leading the wife like the promised land. But it was actually the other way around.
She was pulling you.
Jesus clearly spoke to her. And then I was like, and I was not having it for a long time.
Yeah, for a long time. You're just like, nah.
I was like, I'm busy, sis, my time. But then since we're sitting doing nothing, I was like, okay, let's do this thing. So we started the channel, and hey, we've had good reviews and relatively good growth
We're
since
having
there.
a good time.
Yes. So we are on the road to 1,000, and we hope to reach there soon.
Guys, they've got an amazing YouTube channel. Please do check it out. Love from the Other Side. Nkanyiso, tell us more a bit about yourself. Thabiso. The two shall become one.
I'm Thabiso. I met my husband in varsity. I grew up in Mabubani, which is in Pretoria. I'm a middle child. My parents are, my dad is a pastor and my mom is a mamruti.
Sure.
If you're, because I think I'm the only Spanish-speaking person here, so I'll try
to you understand. We'll try.
So we met at the University of Pretoria. So after I graduated, I worked for like 1 year, and then where I was working, I just was around a lot of pharmacists. That's when actually, let me do this pharmacy thing. So I went back to school, which was like kind of, telling my parents, okay, I'm going to go back to school full time again.
Oh, wow.
So, but now I'm done and I'm glad. So I'm a child of God. Where God says go, I go.
Wow.
So that is the reason why we even started the YouTube channel. It wasn't my idea.
Yes.
So with many things, with a lot of things, I go where I'm led. my God. So
wow, I love that.
A woman of
into my
God.
Straight into my arms.
She was led straight into it, not by the side.
Yeah, guys, so on today's topic, as you've heard, they talk a lot about love and marriage. So, yeah, we've brought them here just so that they can share with us, you know, and with you guys, you know, and just let us know, hey, do we need a lot of money to get married, hey?
Sure.
And we would also love to know from the guys, hey, why are they taking so long to pop the question? You know, I'm sure a lot of ladies are just like, why is this man of God taking forever? You know, what is he? Is he waiting for Jesus? Like, what's going on? So, yeah, we'll be hearing a lot about that today. So please do stay tuned.
Yes.
And then over to you guys. Maybe if you can just let us know where you guys met, when you started dating, and eventually that led to marriage. We know because you're married now.
So initially we met at church. When we were at UP. So we met. There was like an evangelism course. And funny enough, that evangelism course produced many marriages. Not just So I don't know.
There was something about it.
Guys, please do go for those evangelism courses.
Go for those courses. So yes, we met in the course. I just saw this beautiful lady. I was like, hey, she's pretty. And we chatted a little bit, and I think I walked you to Reyes or something.
No, you pretended you were going the same direction.
Yes.
Literally, because I was trying to after the class. I walked and I saw you like walking ahead, and I tried to slow it down because I was not about to catch up with you.
Yes.
Because I didn't want to start talking to you because I didn't know you like that. But you were walking too slow, so I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna catch up. You know, the conversation is not gonna kill me. So and then we started walking. I'm like, oh, so which direction are you going? And then, no, same direction. No, later to find out. He lives in the opposite direction.
Wow.
I stayed literally completely.
So, bro, it's not like a tactic for guys. It doesn't work.
It was no Ndebele that after church walk.
Guys, there's the template.
After church walk, that's where, you know, because where is she gonna go? Until you are going the same direction. So that's where we met. And we didn't really chat much after that. I mean, we just did the course and it was done. Then a few months later, I bumped into Thabiso again at a university event.
It was a fashion show.
Yes.
I was there with one male friend of mine.
And that's where I decided to shoot my shot now. And I was like, no, now I need your number.
And it was your friends. They were like, go.
Yes. My friends were like,
like team effort, bro.
Because my friends knew the guy that she was there with. And I was like, no, what if that's her dude or something? And they were like, not at all. Don't worry. Cool. So that's when we started chatting, and then a few months later we started dating, and we dated for 7
years.
Wow.
7 years, and then finally tied the knot in 2019. And we've been married now for 2 years.
Wow.
And 2.5.
Something like that.
Ladies can always count.
I don't count months. We don't count months.
No, we don't
count years.
They always say, there's this joke, they always say, never ask a guy how long they're married and their wife is there. Never ask them that. That's like putting them in a corner.
There's too much pressure. I count years. Years, not months.
And just to ask, obviously, so you guys met back then and 7 years ago, here you guys are today. But in the dating phase, did finance play like an important role between the two of you?
Look, do you want to? You say that you have a lot you want to say.
Well, while dating, not really. Like, we were not really. Well, I wasn't thinking about finance because we were both students.
Sure.
I think we say this a lot, that it's harder for people to date when they're like older because now they're more established and they work. So the guy they find, they're like, okay, so what do you do? How much are you making? But when we're students, you're just worried about getting through the course.
Sure.
You know? So it wasn't playing much of a role.
Yeah.
But I did I must say, when we met, you like taking me out on dates.
Yes.
I was not used to that.
Yes.
So it was like a plus. I was just like, oh, this guy, you know, I can get used to this.
I often tell people the point where I decided that this girl is going to go from girl to wife.
Sure.
It was quite early in our relationship. One day I went, because I usually took Thabi on dates and we'll go have ice cream or lunch or, you know.
Yeah.
And then this particular day I was broke. I was broke.
Yeah.
You know, a student broke.
Yeah.
So I went to see her at Res and she was like, no, let's just sit outside and just chill.
Yeah.
So we was just chatting and I was like, no, sorry, I don't have money to take you to go get ice cream or something. And she's like, even if we sat and drank water, I would rather just sit and drink water if it just meant spending time with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. I was like, oh.
Are we listening, guys? That's powerful.
Yeah. And that's the point where I decided that actually there's something special here. Because who thinks like that?
Yeah.
And you know, like just to answer your question about the money, I think I probably cared more about such things than Thabi did. Thabi just didn't. She's always been a very easy person to please.
Yeah.
She's never really like expected like way too much.
Sure.
And that was such a relief for me and it took pressure off.
Sure.
Not that I didn't make the effort, I did.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I always feel sorry for like people who are now dating ever since Instagram became a thing.
Yeah.
Because Instagram expectations
Soft life.
are so high.
Soft life.
You know?
You can't just go on a date around the corner.
You know, everything's got to be content now. Look at the KFC guy who proposed to KFC and it was like a thing. You know, but before Instagram, it was like there was no evidence that you proposed to KFC. You just proposed. So I'm so glad. I'm so grateful to the Lord to have given me a woman who just appreciates love more than anything else in her life.
Oh, that's so beautiful. You know, our little brother once asked us, guys, did you ever go on dates? And then we're like, our dates were the cafeteria on campus. For us, those were our dates. We never actually went out and on a particular evening to this 5-star restaurant or anything. So I think that's very important in this day and age, you know, just to have that simplicity in the relationship. I mean, if you can afford to do that, by all means, go ahead and do it. But also the simplicity of just liking each other, loving each other, you know.
And the conversation. I think I keep saying that I fell in love with the conversation.
Sure.
And I fell in love with your mind.
Yeah.
So that's why drinking water was because I was just, you know, talking to you excited me.
Oh, that's
good. I love your love story, guys. I love to hear you guys share that because for a lot of us young people, we don't hear these stories anymore. You know, we're being shot at a lot now by Instagram, the soft life. You know, everything is soft. But also the practicality. I love that drinking the water story. Like for me, it's like amazing. You know, it's something that I really would love to also share in our journey. We've seen that, you know, we used to take taxis together as well, you know, the simplicity of the relationship from the word go, right? But today we're talking about you guys.
okay.
So I want to understand, and for people that are out there, this amazing love story, right? Obviously there was a point where you guys thought, okay, we're done with dating now. We're taking it to the next level. I know a lot of guys, it comes from the guys, right? But I want to hear from both perspectives. When was that point? And when did you realize this is the point we really want to take it to the next level?
Do you want to start?
I know, go for it. Ladies first.
I feel like you need to start.
All right. I think I knew that I wanted to take it to marriage with Thabi from pretty early on. But I was, like I said, I was the one who had like money and financial things much more important to me than they were to Thabi. Thabi just was happy to be in love and to be married. And that's just my wife. And I was much more complicated than that. I'm like, yeah, but love and then live where and do and drive what. And so I was that sort of person. So it took much longer for me.
Sure.
to come to the point of like, okay, let's do this. And it was for my wife. My wife was like, just do it.
Yes.
Like, let's just do it now.
Yeah.
But funny enough, my dad used to tell me the same thing. He'd also be like, no, Sonny, don't wait for money. Let's just get this thing now. And I'd be like, what's this guy talking about? This guy. So for me, I think the point where I realized that, you know what, I had been doing some business in SA.
Yeah.
That hadn't been working out according to plan, and I ended up going back to Zim, and I was working in Zim. And the second I got to Zim, I just said, nah, I just can't.
Sure.
I realized at that point that being with my wife, being with Thabi, was much more important than any of the other plans that I had. That I would much rather have her with me and then work on what I'm working
Wisdom
on
right there, bro.
than to complete, have this completed thing and then introduce Thabi into my life. So I saw that, no, actually, here I've got my priorities wrong.
Yeah.
The second I left Zim, I said, nah, I'm going back to fetch my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
To fetch your wife.
Yes, I was like, I'm going back to fetch my wife, and God and
Oh,
I,
I'm sad. You know, someone else.
irreplaceable. Well, I can't even find another one. Yeah. So that was the point for me. I think at that stage we'd already been dating for maybe 5-6 years. 6 years, perhaps we'd been dating.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I can't. Because I remember I was so miserable without her.
Oh, that's just so
And
sweet.
we were already long distance. She was at Rhodes, she went back second degree, and I was in Gauteng.
Yeah.
But all the same, now in Zim is like, it's extra long distance.
Sure.
Because the network's different. The network's
It's
different.
extra frustration and stress now.
When you do that WhatsApp call, you're like, hey, how are you? And then you tell the whole story, and all she heard was, hey. And then maybe a word in the middle. Oh my goodness.
So would you recommend someone to wait until they've got their finances sorted? I mean, until, let's say for a guy, they've got $500,000 in the bank account, and then
It's a big one for us guys.
it is, because we want to provide, we want to we want to spoil our wives. I think the most normal, reasonable, rational men want their wife to live a relatively soft life.
Yeah.
Or at least at the minimum is an equal life than the one that your father was giving you.
Sure.
But do I recommend it? Yes, it depends on the person.
Yeah.
I can't tell a guy that this isn't. But what I can say is that it's really up to you to decide your priorities.
Sure. Sure.
And you need to accept the consequence of the decision you've chosen.
Sure.
If you choose to build the money first, and then you'll marry her when the money is right, then that's fine. But question number one, when will you have enough? Because the process of building wealth, it takes time, and generally we can't estimate with accuracy when the date will be. So that's one. And then secondly, what effect does the wait have on your person? Because it's a long time to wait and to be told, no, I'm waiting to just close this deal, I'm waiting to earn extra money, I'm waiting for 50,000, I'm waiting for, because there's life happening. And she's also like got her own frustration, she's waiting. So there's that duality. And when I think it's almost not worth it to pause your happiness with your person.
Oh, that's good.
It's waiting for money. It's like, it's not worth it. At some point, choose your happiness now. Like, just be happy with your person, and then you'll be fine.
My side is slightly different.
Okay.
I would say when we first got together, that was my condition. Remember?
Yes.
I was like, I'll go out with you. If this is leading to marriage. Like day one, I was like, I'm not prepared to get into a relationship.
We're 21 years old.
Yes.
Wow.
Kids.
Wow.
She's saying,
Because it took me
She
a
knows her
while.
stuff.
Yeah, now that I think about it, like it took guts for me to say that. But I remember before, because you asked me what 6 months prior, and it took me a long time to be like, okay, this is what I'm saying, because I prayed about it. I agonized over it, you know. And then I was like, okay, the only way I'm gonna start dating is if this leads to marriage.
Yeah.
And then 2017. That's when the Lord started talking to me about, okay, you guys need to start getting married. So that was my first year of my second degree. So every year, like the Lord would talk to me about, okay, it's time for you guys to get married. So, but I'm like, Lord, I'm not the man in this relationship. And obviously, we'd be talking about it for years. We'd be talking about it for years. Like, no, we need to get married. So I remember I was in my third year, and then like the word just started getting stronger and stronger. Like every Sunday, I'd go to church, and the Lord would talk to me about the same thing. And
that's
then
so beautiful.
so that's when I started talking to him about it, and then it became more serious. And then you started getting your uncles involved about writing the letter and whatnot. But yeah, I think 2018. Was it 2018?
18, yes.
2018 December.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when the
letter was delivered.
Yeah.
You know, I want us to talk about the favor of God. You know, you spoke a lot about God and Him saying, you guys need to get married. You know, obviously, you know, He made provision for things to actually happen. You know, I'm sure you guys didn't have to wait for that fat, you know, bank account that's 10 million rand. You know, I think for us, maybe we can just share a little bit, you know, the things that we saw with God. We also didn't have a lot of money, you know, before we got married. And we just saw God's provision in everything that we did. I'll just start with his suits, for example. We got a 50% discount on his suits.
Like it was, for me, that was a miracle. I'll never forget it, because they even said no one had ever
We've never seen this before.
Like,
yes.
Wow.
So we went to, I think it was Eurossuits or something,
And they had like a promotion.
And then they had like those lucky cookies. What are they called? Yes. So you would crack one and then you get a percentage of how much you're going to get. So we got 50%. And we were just like, wow, we were just blown away. So those are one of the few things, you know, that God did on our wedding. People just gave a lot of money. Bulelani being from Bulawayo, so people also gave in dollars, you know. So we took that money and we spent it on our honeymoon. They did it, you know. God's orchestration is just so perfect, you know. So all of that, when we got married, we actually had free accommodation for 6 months.
Like, it was crazy, but like I love the fact that, remember, our disclaimer is always that we speak from Christian point of view, because we understand. And I love what you guys were sharing, because it's like, definitely you're putting God at the center. You know, when the Bible actually speaks about, unless the Lord builds a house, they that are building it in vain. But I love the fact your love story is speaking to us, even through your YouTube channel, guys. Like, there's so much love happening there. Like, there's so much love happening. And it can not just be your own doing, for sure, but like you can see there's a deeper thing going on in there. And we connect with that as well, you know, as one of your viewers. So I want to ask, like, I love bringing in controversy into conversations, right? So I understand the financial aspects, because there could be someone watching today, and we're young couples, guys, you know, we both kind of got married young, and a lot of other couples out there that might be Christian, that might not be Christian, that get married young. But the biggest question is, in our culture, guys, there's this thing called lobola, guys. So some are just listening to us and like, guys,
they are talking seriously, but then you go there and they ask you for 150,000, and then what do you do? So
exactly. So what was your story about the lobola situation? Did it become such an issue? What's your advice to someone listening, especially about the lobola situation, as young couples trying?
I mean, it's marriage for the rich people, basically. Because I mean, lobola can be expensive.
Yes.
Take this one. This one is a hot one. I'm not sure I can touch it.
Lobola was hard. And it's not hard because Thabi's parents were unreasonable. Definitely not. They are so reasonable. Thabi's parents are so reasonable. But at the time, so I was working in Zim, and those who don't know about how Zim operates, we have, let's say, economic fluctuations. And we were, at the time that I was engaged and I was preparing to lobola, we were in the middle, at the beginning of a downward fluctuate, a downward phase. I'm trying to think the right words. I don't want to offend people, but we were at the start of a downward phase. So basically, my salary, which was much more than enough to cover wedding, lobola, honeymoon, it was definitely enough. It was now growing by a negative factor. That's how I used to describe it. So it would start off, it was like worth 11,000 rand. Next month, it was 10,000. Next month, it was the equivalent of 8,000 if you had to
convert.
Like it's the same salary. You know, sometimes they even give like salary increases, but because of where the economy was at that time, you know, there are all sorts of like exchange rates. You know, what do they call it when it's readjusting? But anyway, so it went from being very many thousands, tens of thousands, to being almost at some point, at this lowest point, it was like 800 rand or something like that. Like, I mean,
that's
absolutely,
yeah.
And then I need to pay for lobola and all these sort of things, and I just used to look at it and be like, who's gonna afford, you know? So I literally went from a place of confidence when the letter was sent. By the time I got married, I just said it'll be a miracle. Like we went there, it just been like, there's gonna be a miracle.
Because like, the way things happened, our lobola negotiations was the Saturday and we got married the Sunday. So you can imagine the stress, because tomorrow we need to get married.
We have to get married. So this thing needs to be. And like a part of me, that's how much money do we have? Are we safe? And I said, are you praying? The people I went to negotiate with, I said, I need to pray. If you're not praying, then you're going to sweat in any negotiation. And we have been praying, so we're safe. Don't worry. It literally was one of those. Because I mean, there's a lot more that goes on besides lobola. Because you have lobola while you're living your life, which has its own expenses. And you're a son in someone's house, so you've also got that sort of thing to look at as well. So there's just a lot. We literally, I don't know, we got there, I felt so bad for the people negotiating for me, and I was like, hey, it is what it is. Because it was either that or I know it's been a stroke or something, like the level of stress, because it's by a negative factor, and this is way outside of my control. And what I found very powerful, when I got back to Zim after we got married, I still needed to wind up, you know, life in Zim. And so I went home, and then people like saw me in the cafeteria at work, and they saw the ring. So they came to me like, you got married? I'm like, yeah, I got married. And I was working at university. So these are people who were young, you know, early, mid-20s. And they're like, okay, where is your wife? I'm like, sure, she's an African, she lives in SA. And they're like, wait, you got married to a South African in South Africa and lobola? I was like, yeah. And they're like, wait, don't you work here? I'm like, yeah, I do. I was like, how? What are you doing? Like, how? Like, who are you? Who's your family? Sort of thing. Like, and I was like, no, I just trust the Lord. And then people started opening up, being like, you know, I've been dating this girl 3 years. I've been dating this girl 4 years. I've been wanting to get married. I'm afraid. And I mean, and they've been going through this, through what I called the good times. And they're still afraid. So they're like, just the fact that, like, tell me what should I do? And I said, listen, if you really believe that this woman is your wife, just pray extremely hard and work as hard as you can. God will meet you halfway. And mainly, I don't know how many people I spoke to and had that conversation. One of them came into my office and the same conversation started. And she was a much older lady, perhaps in her mid-30s. And she was like, how did you pull this off? And I said, no, I just pray. And it's actually incredible how many people have placed their lives on pause because they want to have you know, there needs to be enough meat for 1,000 people at the wedding and that sort of thing. Like, it's actually incredible, you know. And I said, no, we can't stop our lives because of whichever cycle, you know. I remember I'm going so much.
No, it's
But
fine.
one of my uncles, he came to me during the time of preparing for the border, and he said, you know, right now, no one is ready for your wedding. We must all travel and go to SA, and no one is really ready.
Sure.
And I think he was trying to get me to like press pause.
Yeah.
So I said, you know, my Lume, I respect you. Tell me the date where everything is
A
now.
man of faith.
I like that we're hearing this from the guy, and he's elaborated a bit more. So obviously, Thabiso would want to hear from you as well. But I love that it's coming from the guy, because I feel like the hindrance, like you said, you had prayed, God's already speaking to you.
You know,
and
I was ready to get married in a truest dress.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Because the instruction is get married. How you do it.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't like, the instruction was get married, and not like I said, I go in on it.
They say when Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. You made it possible.
And it's so real. I feel like it's the similar situation with her as well. I remember she was speaking to me, would say, dude, you know, because with ladies, I think you communicate a bit more in terms of when that time's approaching to say what's happening, you know what I mean, type thing. But there's a lot of people that are in that situation right now who are guys. And specifically, the money thing has been such a hindrance, guys. You know, and I'm glad that we're speaking about that today. I actually learned a lot as I was listening to what Nkanyiso was saying, and I'm sure our viewers are learning a lot as well. The fact that the financial side of things shouldn't stop us from achieving what we want to achieve. We are capable of working towards that. First thing, if the intention is right, the rest kind of will work itself out. And the fact is, I'm not saying you leave it open to working itself out, but I want to resonate with what he's saying. The intention's got to be there to marry her, first and foremost. Because I think now also that can be used. I know there's a bit of controversy there, but that can be used for people to end up dating for like 20 years. You know what I mean? And there is no direction towards marriage. Because I feel like for me personally, the whole point of dating is to get to what we see today. And even more. That's going to come out of this ministry, because marriage is a ministry, out of this ministry as well. So obviously, as we wrap up, do you guys have, or can you give us advice into our viewers today in terms of someone that's sitting out there and says, I want to get married, but I'm feeling like really challenged financially? I'm going to give that one to you, Thabiso.
For the ladies, when you speak to the ladies and you speak to the men, I feel like when you're older, I guess it's very hard for them to hear what I'm about to say. But I do think you should marry for love. Like the money thing is very important. I'm not gonna lie. Money is important. When there's plenty of money, there's very little problems. Marriage, you know. But it shouldn't be the number one thing. Like the person's character. Does this person? Well, in our case, does this person love the Lord? Are they led by the Lord? Like, do they have a vision for their own life and the life of, like, the life that you're going to lead? That is very important for me. Like, don't put so much pressure on yourselves as far as money is concerned. Just do what the Lord leads you to. Like, because He won't take you to a place where He cannot sustain. But if the marriage thing is your idea, then you're gonna have to sustain yourself. So make sure that when you are getting into that relationship, it is driven by God, it is led by God, and because that's the only advice I can give. Is that if the Lord said go, you go. But if He said, okay, maybe not now and not this person, don't force it because Mr. Spanbang has a lot of money. I think I can marry this one. So that's my advice. Not saying money is not important, but it's not number one.
Exactly. For me to give advice, the challenge I have with giving advice is that I can only give it to Christians. Marriage is almost impossible to justify these days outside of a Christian context, because you divorce 50% of your stuff, so it's almost impossible. So that's a good point to start if you want to get married. Honestly, be saved, and then after you're saved, then understand that it's a ministry that God has given for Himself.
Yeah.
The ministry that you're running is for His own glory. Your family, your children, your successes, they're going to come through this ministry, and God is going to bless it. So you just have to have faith in the Lord, and of course, put in the work. Well, these things go without saying, but all the finance stuff, it'll be sorted. And I mean, there's still more challenges once you cross the line and you're now married. Like, if you think lobola is hard, try to get married. Try to just be married.
Like that one.
You know, realize that you actually appreciate. I told someone, sorry, just as I close, I told someone that I appreciate what I went through during lobola, because it created a mindset in me that strengthened and galvanized me in order to handle being a husband. You know, like if I had just gotten married so easily, things that come easy are not always the strongest ones. Some things are hard, that are deeply rooted. So, yes, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I know guys who've paid 100,000 rand, lobolas and stuff like that. I know more than one, actually. And they did it and they're still happy and they love their wife like they never paid 100. But for them, the money came from the Lord and they just did the work. But one also was so warlike and he worked with all his strength and
it's the problem. You know, but I find that sometimes money is not the only issue. I mean, so now I'll just be asking you guys, you know, some of the Christian guys, I mean, they just take forever to, not even to pop the question, but just to be like, I like what's on your mind. You know, for me, guys, there was this guy, we were very good friends. Good friends. Obviously, I didn't see anything. I didn't see that he liked me or anything. And then many years later, he sends me a message on Facebook and then he says, had I proposed, would you have said yes? And I'm just thinking, whoa.
No, in other words, you're too slow, bro. Some of us didn't ask the question, the actual question. Okay.
But now, then speak to your brothers, guys. Like, why is the process so slow? I'm even frustrated on behalf of some of my fellow sisters because I mean, like,
we need answers, guys.
And then I can see that, you know, there's sort of something in between the two of us, but he's not saying anything.
And he's not saying anything.
Yeah.
Is he scared, or if he says something, it's a sin? Like,
I think there's
what's the process? What you have to hear from God first before you can approach a lady and say, can we start dating? Or before you can say, I like you. Like, what has happened?
I think perhaps there's some stigma. Let's start there. For instance, you're a Christian man, so you're told that you can't behave the same as guys who are not saved. And guys who are not saved, they shoot.
They shoot the
You see, you're that corner, bro, and decide that he won't let you go past without
their type, not their type.
You'll be like, oh, sweetie, I want to marry you. You know? So there's that thing of like, okay, I can't behave like a guy who's not saved. And then as well, here in the church, hey, there's pressure from, because you don't want to make the avatar of the church unhappy. You want to toe the line, so you're kind of like afraid to. And like I've noticed, the more safe the guy is, the less likely he will to shoot.
That's
like
true.
There's the guys who are like he had tens. Those ones,
they keep shooting.
Those ones don't play. But the guys who are like the more safe, the man of God, you like hesitant.
But we must fix that if you think about it in our fraternity, you know, to be honest, because I would, and I like what you said, if someone sends you a Facebook message and says, what would you have thought if it did? No, guys, shoot the shot.
Shoot the shot.
Like, you need to
But
share that.
how do they shoot the shot, and what's holding them back, you know, from actually doing? Okay, I've heard the one reason that, you know, I'm a man of God. You know, then I can't just be like everyone.
It's the stigmas around church. I think he's brought it up. But for me personally, the most important thing, I feel like when you're planning to like shoot the shot, taking your time, guys, I feel like God created attraction. Like He's the one that created it. He created Adam and Eve. So if I am attracted, yes, bring it before the Lord. I always say watch and pray. Don't just pray only. You must be watching what's happening there. But in any case, for me, the main thing is God created the whole attraction situation. So, and men have got to pursue, you know, it's what it is, and I don't want to get into that it's a whole other topic, but women love that. That's why, unfortunately, the brothers from out there end up winning the ladies also in the church. Topic for another day, because our guys, I mean, I'm just going to say this, let's wake up, guys. If we have to shoot the shot, let us shoot the shot.
And it's interesting because I've had success in hooking up people. It's a couple, 2 or 3.
We need you on this side of the world.
It's 3.
3 for 3.
And they're all married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
It's a ministry.
It is. You know, it's not actually difficult. All that has to happen is that he has to tell her that, listen, I like you in a way that could be much more than friendship. And then, because women are not very difficult. All you have to do with them is just tell them that, listen, this is what I would want. And then she will tell you how she feels about you. Like they're intelligent enough to be like, listen, I don't like you at all. I'm not attracted to you. Or she can be like, okay, all right, let's see what you got. That's all. It's very easy. But now to get that guy. So what I would do is I'll be like, I'll go to her and say, listen, that guy, he's very much for you.
Okay.
And then I'll go to him and I say, that girl there, I've spoken to her. I'll tell her, I've already spoken to her. Don't worry. I can't leave it to chance. I can't leave it to the guy to be like, let me pray. You guys, watch and pray what you say. So I go to both of them, I say, hey. And then by the time the exchange numbers go on a date, done deal is already done. It's already done. But the guy will be like just nervous. He'll be like, are you sure I don't want to cause waves? And I'm like, no, you haven't seen the woman. You have not done any sin by telling her that I'm interested in you. Which sin is that? Please point to the Bible so you can explain to me which sin you've committed. You haven't committed any. Saying I'm interested in you, that's completely fine. So that's what I found. That's the trick that works. And they've been getting married and they're happy.
And God designed attraction, you know. I think we've often said that it's a sin or anything. Well, obviously there are things that are a sin, but I mean, just me being attracted to him, there's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely not. So guys, please don't forget to write us. Just let us know of any other ideas, you know, that you brothers, you know, some hookup lines or whatever that you can provide for our brothers and sisters, you know, you can never know. And please don't forget to write out to our foundation, info@youarecapable.com. We really love to hear from you guys. If you need any financial assistance and you want to start a business or you're currently studying, please do let us know, and we love to hear from you. Thank you so much to our lovely guests for joining us. We really had a lovely time. And there's so much knowledge and wisdom in these two, and hopefully you guys benefited from that. And thank you so much, and that is a wrap from us. And always remember that you are capable.